All right, so now let's think about the cosine function and finding the inverse cosine graph. So here's cosine function. If I want my inverse to be a function, I need to restrict the domain. So I'm going to go again from maximum to minimum. So let's think about points. That's 0, 1. Here's another key point, pi over 2, 0, and pi negative 1. So here's my inverse part. Now if I reflect this over the line y equals x, so like that. So now when I reflect it, all these are going to switch. I'm going to end up with the point 1, 0. Here's my 1, 0 reflecting down. I'm going to end up with the point 0 pi over 2 and end up with the point negative 1 pi when I flip those around. So here's my cosine graph. If it continued, we would end up having the same thing like we had before. We would continue wrapping up and down the y-axis, so on and so forth. All right, but again, I think it's easiest to not think about the graph and to think about the unit circle. Cosine a half, that's short x, so tall y. So cosine inverse of a half. What we're thinking of here, though, is on our restricted domain, and that's what I didn't talk about up top. When you're just asked for the sine inverse and you're not given a domain, I actually shouldn't have given all of these answers. I should have given the answers that exist on the domain that we looked at, which was negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So this one is greater than my domain. So I'm actually going to get rid of those. And this one is outside my domain, because I'm looking, if you're just given the expression for the inverse, we want to only look at the values within the domain. So here our domain, we're just given this, we're not given any other, it's not an equation or anything. So if we're just asked for cosine inverse of a half, I'm thinking only of going from my restricted domain, which was from 0 to pi. So cosine of a half would not be positive there. So from 0 to pi, cosine of a half is pi over 3. Sorry, cosine of pi over 3 is a half. Arc cos of negative root 2 over 2, that's going to be over here. My reference angle is pi over 4. So on that side, I'm going to get 3 pi over 4. Again, answering only within the domain.